do you go for entertainment? For the hottest topics on television, from sports and fitness to fashion and love, there's only one place to be: Platinum Air TV.
I'm Carmine. I'm going to cut to the chase and give it to you straight.
And I'm Joe. I'm the #1 sports handicapper on the planet, and I know everything there is to know.
If you're in it to win it, we've got exclusive inside information.
And if you want to be a millionaire like me, don't blink, because you might miss some.
Welcome to Uncensored Sports and Gambling. My name's Carmine the Hardline.
And this is Joe D'Amico.
Our show's filmed in Las Vegas, Nevada, and what better place to give you the latest news in sports and gambling, behind-the-scenes information, and Joe and I's top picks. Let's get started with our first segment, Batter Up. I want to start off by saying congratulations to the Golden Knights, winners of the Pacific Division in the Western Conference. Joe, they did it as an expansion team. And I also want to congratulate the Villanova Wildcats. Man, they won it all, Joe.
Absolutely, Carmine. First of all, with the Golden Knights, before we get started with the Golden Knights or Villanova, I'd like to thank the most important people there is, our viewers and listeners out there that made our first show a huge success. Without you, we wouldn't be here. We wouldn't be anything. We love you. Keep tuning in. It's going to get better and better, guys. As far as the Golden Knights, I'm happy. I'm an advocate for Vegas, guys. Carmine, I love Vegas. I'm the host of Las Vegas. I want you to know, though, it's going to get bleak for these Golden Knights. The postseason comes, and it's a whole new ballgame. They statistically had the easiest schedule in the NHL, and they're going to go start facing some tougher situations.
Okay.
As far as the Villanova Wildcats, Carmine, great thing. First of all, my nephew goes there. He's a senior. He's about ready to graduate. Doesn't give me any inside info, the little son of a bitch. But I will tell you this, guys. I put up the Villanova Wildcats as my college basketball game of the year winner in the finals. My 7th straight year, Carmine, winning the finals. On fire, absolutely on fire. Carmine, please.
Amazing, Joe. Let's stay with basketball, but let's move into the NBA. Joe, this is a tough time for me to actually pick who I like and who I don't like. You got teams that are on the bubble. You got teams fighting for a playoff. You got teams that are already clinched. So, only thing I really want to say about the NBA is be careful and keep an eye on the Portland Trailblazers. Also, the Washington Wizards. The playoffs start on Saturday. Saturday the 14th. Joe, you got a little bit that you said that you wanted to talk about on the NBA.
Absolutely. Unlike recent years, guys, sports fans, the NBA right now has 7 teams in a postseason berth with a few more teams vying for that 8th position. And in the West, 4 teams are in. Quite a few teams vying for the other 4 spots. But what's funny is, outside of one team, the Houston Rockets, every other team can better their seed. I've never seen that this late in the season with only about a week to go in the season, Carmine. Viewers, it's going to be a great playoff season, but I've never seen where literally 15 teams can jockey for better position a week before the end of the season.
Joe, and I look forward to looking at a bracket with you, making some picks, and giving our viewers some picks to to win some money on.
Now, you did say, I'm sorry, Carmine, you did say the Washington Wizards and the Portland Trail Blazers.
I said keep an eye on them. I think they can wreck some teams in their playoffs, especially when they're at home. Shout out to what LeBron James did, 867 consecutive games with double digits, breaks Michael Jordan record. Joe, I want to jump right into baseball, and what a way to start the season. Ian Happ, first pitch of the season, knocks a home run for the Cubs. It sets the stage for what's going to be, I think, a great baseball season.
It's a great opening week, and as you know, I spent a lot of time in the racing sportsbooks here in Vegas. I love our racing sportsbooks, the best books in the world here in town. I spent a lot of time talking with racing sportsbook directors, and as you know, I had a great opening week, but I want everybody to know out there, what baseball offers is a great buffer between college basketball ending and football beginning. Those several months give our sports fans out there a new and exciting sport to have some fun with, make some money with, more importantly.
Well, I'll tell you, a couple of things I'm on in baseball, and I really like what baseball does. They add a lot of things, but the viewers are sitting home, it doesn't bore them. They've always had miles per hour on pitches. They've always measured distance on home runs. It kind of is a follow along. It's not brand new, but it is really something that people are paying attention to. It's the exit velocity. So when the ball player hits the ball, they're measuring how fast that ball goes off his bat. 117, 120 miles per hour. I like it. But as always, there is a but. In opening day, Joe, 20 of 30 teams brought 8 different relievers. 2 teams brought 9 different relievers to the game. What that's doing is slowing down the baseball game. So now the pitcher doesn't face the lineup a third time. They bring in a relief pitcher. It's taken away from that speed of the game and the defensive and the big offensive plays. We got to slow it down. I want to keep an eye on that and see if it really does kind of take away from the
thing, Carmine, with baseball season is, when we had the strike 20 plus years ago, we lost a lot of fans when they came back. When the strike ended, a lot of fans didn't come back to baseball, so what they did was they juiced the ball. It was a live ball era, so more players could hit more home runs.
Yeah.
The game has changed, though. Please understand that most sports fans want to see runs, but real, true sports baseball fanatics, there's nothing better than a 1-0 game. It really is.
Especially in the playoffs.
And the thing, Carmine, is with baseball is it gives people a really, they could bet on anything. Here in Vegas, we have apps. You can bet balls and strikes. You can bet anything you want. You can bet the first 5.5 innings of the game. You can bet run lines. Anything you want to bet, you can bet pertaining to baseball. And I'll tell you right now, it's going to be a great season. First week of the season coming, there are teams that should be bagging groceries by next week, like the Pittsburgh Pirates that are in first place, that are picked to go 5th. And they're in first place right now. Houston Astros, right off the bat, they won again today. We're taping 5-1, 6-1. Playing really good ball, but listen to me. This season isn't even going to unfold for another 6 or 7
That's
weeks.
true. And I want to mention one player to keep an eye on, Soho Ataya. This guy's from Japan. He is the first player to not be listed as a pitcher, to start the game as a pitcher and win. Last night he was in the lineup. His first at bat, he hits a home run. Joe, that hasn't been done since 1919, 99 years ago.
And who did it?
Babe Ruth.
And don't ever put a Japanese baseball player in the same sentence with Babe Ruth. That's sacrilege. I'll tell you right now,
it hasn't been done.
Outside of Ichiro, who is the real deal, he's one of the greatest baseball players of this generation, there hasn't been a great Japanese player that adapted to our game ever. Don't tell me about Sadahara in the 60s and 70s with his home runs. That guy couldn't kiss Willie Mays' ass. I don't even want to start. And Hank Aaron, listen, these players, they come here, they're phenoms for a season or two, because they have awkward pitching styles. And then what happens? Our batters figure them out, and the next thing you know, they're sushi masters over at Sushi Rock on the Strip.
Joe, I'm going to go ahead and explain the sport to you, give you a couple things about the sport. I want you to guess the sport, and I want you to hold your guess to the end. All right, in this sport, the one I'm specifically talking about, it's a 4-day event. The ticket price is $1,000 to attend this sport. When you attend this sport, you'll never have a place to sit down. There won't be people offering cold drinks or any type of eats. You'll have to walk hundreds of yards during this event as it takes place. And as the action heats up, when the action is at its hottest, they'll ask you to hush. They'll ask you, Joe, to keep it down. What sport is talking about?
I'm sorry, what were you saying?
What sport am I talking about?
Obviously you're talking about golf, but I want to tell you, I know where you're going to go. Just please go.
I'll tell you where I'm going to go with this. It's an elitist sport.
I'm sorry.
You never hear about golfers going to underprivileged kids, giving them golf clubs, showing them how to play golf. You'd see it in football.
Horse shit.
And I tell you what, they don't let women in the club for the first 80
First of all, there's
years.
no reason why no women in the club.
Yeah.
Women don't belong in sports, period. All right?
Okay,
They are what you play with during the game and what you play with afterwards.
It's 83%
Having said
white.
that, listen to me, don't tell me about 83%
Talk
white.
about social
Because
injustice.
Tiger
and talk about
Woods brought a lot to the sport.
Golf
In
does it
between
the
him
most.
molesting women, Tiger Woods brought a lot to the sport. Okay, I'm going to tell you right now, he brought this to the inner city. However, what people don't understand is, unlike basketball, where 20 kids can pitch in $1 and buy a basketball and play in the inner city, golf is a little more expensive. But Tiger Woods did do a lot for the inner city kids to play golf.
Well, I tell you, it just, I don't see enough golfers reaching out to kids to helping them. It's an elitist sport, Joe. I think if you like it, go out and play it. Watching it, I think it's one of the stupidest things you could do.
It's the toughest sport in the world to master, and I'll tell you that right now.
Well, I want to tell our viewers right now to go to platinumair.tv where you can listen live, chat live, and email us all your questions. It's the only sports show you can really do that in, Joe.
Absolutely. And I also want to thank all those people out there that went to my website, www.aasiwins, called my free pick phones, my paid pick lines, 1-800-563-8854. I won my NCAA Game of the Year, 6-0 the last 3 days in baseball and basketball. #1 in the world ranked right now, documented.
All right, let's get right into our next statement. Let's get right into our next segment, Backfield, Behind the Scenes. All right, Joe, I got a lot of things at my sources, and my sources text and call me all the time. They're out there in the field, and they're talking about this, and I'm going to give them to you right now. First, Kawhi Leonard wants out of San Antonio. He's a California kid. He's going to get out of San Antonio, and the Charlotte Hornets are looking to trade Dwight Howard. Dwight Howard started 76 of 77 games. He had the best year he had at age 32. Now, on the previous show, I said, watch LeBron go to Houston and form a powerhouse. I may be wrong on that, Joe. If you get Kawhi Leonard, Dwight Howard, and LeBron James all going to the Lakers, they may have something.
Well, here's the thing. First of all, it's not going to happen. A, because you can't get that many egos on one team. And B, the Lakers are not going to pay that much money for 1 or 2 years, too, because they're actually playing good ball.
Then look at those three
and their
players
coach
going
can't
another
handle
team.
those egos. That coach can't handle those.
Look for those players to go another. I'm ahead of that. On all these segments, I'm ahead of it. Here's another one before I get into my final one. And I'd mentioned this to you before, and you said that you already knew about it. This is the first time I'm hearing about it. The Yankees are going to hard pursue Bryce Harper. He's in the last year of his contract. The evil empire is going to get even more evil,
Stop
Joe.
with this evil shit, all right? Listen to me. When you are the greatest sports franchise in the history of sports, there's going to be haters, particularly people with bad hair like Carmine.
Yeah.
I'm going to tell you right now,
He's
they are the
still jealous of
greatest
my
team.
hair.
All right, and they don't have the biggest payroll. As a matter of fact, they're ranked 7th in payroll.
I checked it. I didn't see that, Joe. I'll check it again.
You don't have to check anything. I'm telling you.
Okay.
I'm better than going to Google. Okay. They're ranked 7th in payroll. Of course he wants on that team. Of course they want him. He produces runs and he puts asses in the seats. But they have such a powerhouse team this year. It depends. I'm going to tell you now. The American League East will go between the Yankees and Red Sox, and if they top the Red Sox, they may not need them.
Go Sox. Next thing I want to tell you about on this, Joe, and this happened yesterday. Confirmed sources, it's going to happen. The Patriots traded Brandon Cooks, their top wide receiver, his 3rd straight 1,000-yard receiving, to the Los Angeles Rams. Now, the Patriots have 2 first-round picks, 2 second-round picks. It's lock it in. Go ahead and it's a done deal. Saquon Barkley, the star running back out of Penn State, is going to be their first pick for the Patriots. It's going to do a couple of things. It's going to take pressure off of Tom Brady. It's going to extend his career. He doesn't have to do everything now. I can't remember the last time they had a great back. They've always had backs by committee, and they lost their best back, Deion Lewis, who just signed with the Titans.
I don't know if they're going to get Saquon Barkley. There's a big if there. I will tell you, I'm proud of Saquon Barkley. He's the first superstar to come out of Penn State that wasn't molested by the coaching staff. That's a fact. Guys, listeners and viewers, I want you to know a lot of people sent in last week. They sent in some comments. They think Carmine and I do not get along. We get along wonderfully. I love hanging out with Carmine.
Yeah.
He's a great guy. When I hang out with him, I get all those great parking spaces close to the door. So I really like hanging out with him. He's my favorite person in the world.
I'll tell you what, Joe, I rode over here with Joe, and I tell you, I gave him 5 stars. He's a really great driver. I did.
Mm-hmm. He's the best, Carmine. Carmine, what's next on the agenda?
All right. We're going into our next segment, End Zone, top picks for the week. All right, Joe, with baseball just starting off and with basketball and hockey going into the playoffs, there's not a lot I can really pick on the hockey and basketball just as of yet until I see the matchup. And as baseball is just starting, there's not a lot, and our show is kind of time sensitive, but I do have some solid picks. They're future picks. You can put some money on them. You got your ticket all year long. You can have some fun with it. First one is that Matt Scherzer. He's a pitcher for the Nationals. Go ahead and put $100 that he has over 20 wins. It's an easy bet. In the home run contest, who's going to hit the most home runs? Joe, these are great odds. Aaron Judge is plus 700 to hit the most home runs in the league. That's worth $100, $150, $200. It's plus 700. Mike Trout's plus 850, and Bryce Harper is 12 to 1. Those are my picks that if you have $100, $150, $200, put them on there. Put that ticket on your dresser. Check it every day as you're watching fun bets. They are my top picks for now.
And if you don't win, listeners and viewers, send your tickets to Carmine and he'll reimburse you. Listen, guys, baseball is a very long 6-month season. It's very important that you pick and choose your spots. As a rule of thumb, don't go above $1.40 on any baseball bet ever. I don't care if Sandy Koufax is pitching or you got the 27 Yankees hitting. It doesn't matter. And shop around the number. If you live here in Southern Nevada and you can bet with the books or with the apps here that we have in the great books and the apps here in Southern Nevada, or you bet online, the most important thing to remember is be stingy. Shop around the number and get the best price. A few cents may not sound like much, but over time, those pennies add up to be a lot. Here's another thing. You've got 5 days a week in baseball, Carmine, and our listeners and viewers. You've got about 12 to 15 games. In a couple of days, you got anywhere from 6 to 8 or 10 games. You've got 100 plus games a week. Be selective. Be more selective than choosing a wife. Because a wife you get rid of and get a better one. You cannot bring back a losing ticket. No, be selective. Just because you like a game today, be choosy and stingy with finding a line. It's very important. Here's another thing about future bets. Carmine, future bets are great. It was at one time that a guy from Cincinnati, a businessman, would come here on a convention and he'd bet $20 on the Reds to win the World Series. But now sharp bettors, sharp players, wise guys, sharps, guys here in Vegas and all around the world like myself that are in the know, we use these long-term bets as investments, but you've got to find value in them. All right, obviously some of the better teams will be there in the postseason. You don't get great odds on them. And some of the better home run hitters. But I don't have a problem with his pick on Stanton. Who are your other two? Harper and who?
Judge, Trout, and Harper.
They're not bad picks because they give you some value. Plus, they give you action for the rest of the season for one low price.
That's why I really like them.
It gives you action every day. So if you don't live here in Vegas, and I know we have a lot of listeners and viewers that don't live here in Vegas, guys, this gives you action for the whole season for one low price.
Yep.
Carmine?
Yeah, you're exactly right, and that's why I picked them. Joe, the other picks that I have are when the playoff bracket is set up for the NBA. Go, and I don't have the dates, and I really can't give you the exact time. Go for Portland on their home opener in the playoffs. Go ahead and pick them. I'd say pick a money line.
Yeah, but we don't know who they're playing just yet. And listen, I want
Hey,
our listeners to know this is my forte. While hair gel is your forte, this is my forte, guys. Listen to me. I mess with Carmine. He's got great hair. He reminds me of Superman. He really does. I'm not talking about the old one. I'm talking about Christopher Reeve, one in a wheelchair. Listen, guys, I want you to know. No, I want you to know. Listen to me.
You gotta get over this hair.
A half a point. Well, you have hair. I don't. A half a point means the difference between winning and losing. So be very careful. I understand what he's saying. He's saying he likes Portland in the home opener, but we also don't know who they're playing against. I would tread lightly before you go with that. You need to know who they're playing because right now, none of the matchups are set. So be very careful. As of taping, none of the matchups are set. By the way, Carmine, I want to congratulate you for making it through the pick segment without your helmet. Congratulations.
I don't know what helmet he's talking about. But, Joe, if you want me to wear a helmet, I definitely will.
I thought you were. Come on.
Well, that's all I got for the picks right now, Joe. I mean, it's your forte.
Well, here's the thing. We are about a week away. As of taping, we're a week away from the last day of the season. I believe it's Wednesday, the 11th.
Yes.
Is the last day of the season, if I'm not mistaken. Don't quote me, but I'm pretty sure. The ensuing days, we're going to know whose the matchups are and whatnot.
It's a tough time.
And it's huge. It's huge. It's huge. It's huge. And once again, a half a point means the difference between winning and losing. Be selective. All right? You're going to have a ton of games. You got 2 months. 2 full months of postseason NBA. Take your time and be selective.
That is true, Joe. And that advice is well taken, and you get it for free on this show, and you should definitely take advantage of it. I don't have a lot of other information on the picks.
Well,
Yep.
We can always touch base. You know, we did not touch base the whole thing. You wanted to play stay with say more about golf. Why don't you take a few seconds to talk about golf?
You know,
Have you ever played golf?
Yeah, I have. I lived in Myrtle Beach for a couple summers.
I'll spot you 15 strokes aside.
You could 30, Joe.
I'm not stroking you 30 times. That ain't gonna happen.
I lose patience. Listen, that golf thing really bothers me. It's an elitist sport, but I do have a couple other things that I wanted to talk about. And last week there was an owners meeting in the NFL. In that owners meeting, they went ahead and changed the catch rule. Now you don't have to have control of the ball as you're making the catch. You just got to come down with it. Here's the real dilemma that rule should have been changed. They made that change automatically in the Super Bowl. The Clemens catch and the Zach Ertz catch would have not been NFL catches before the Super Bowl. That's what really pissing off a lot of fans, Joe.
Arguing about something or even fretting over something several months back.
Well, the owners meetings were
trying over.
Yeah, you're right. The owners meetings came up with the catch rule. I like it. I do think it's a big improvement. But the way he changed it on his own terms was another way where he's judge, jury, and executioner on everything. All right. I want to thank the following sponsors and charities. I really want to give a thank you to the Global Sports Foundation. It's a charity that donates used sporting equipment to underprivileged kids and adults all over the world. Real good feeling there, Joe.
We'd like to also thank Adaptive Sports Access for Wounded Warriors. Thank you from the bottom of our hearts.
All right, don't forget to go to our website, platinumair.tv, where you can listen live, chat live, email us our questions. Joe, we're the only show that you can really interact with us like that.
Absolutely. Nowhere else on the planet can you talk to the host like you can with us. And by the way, thank you all you young ladies out there for sending me all those underwears. I appreciate it.
Joe, great show. I'll see you next week. We'll do another.
Have a great week, and thank you all of you. God bless. Have a winning day.